time. 9 years have gone by, friends. It's summer, 1913. Gradual changes in Grover's quarters. Horses are getting rarer. Farmers are coming into town in Fords. And everybody locks their house doors at night. There haven't been any burglars, but everybody's heard about them. You'd be surprised. On the whole, things don't change much around here. This certainly is an important part of Grover's quarters. It's on a hilltop, a windy hilltop. Lots of sky, lots of clouds, often lots of sun and moon and stars. You come up here on a fine afternoon, you can see range on range of hills. Awful blue they are, up there by Lake Sunapee and Lake Winnipesaukee. If you've got a glass, you can see the White Mountains in Mount Washington, over there by North Common. And of course, our favorite mountain, Mount Monadnock's right here. The towns that lie around. Jaffrey and East Jaffrey, Peterborough and Dublin. Right there. Quite a ways down. It's Grover's Quarters. It's a beautiful spot up here. Mountain laurel, lilac. I often wonder why people want to be buried in Woodlawn in Brooklyn when they might pass the same time up here in New Hampshire. Over here are the old stones. 1670, 1680. Strong-minded people who come a long way to be independent. Summer people walk around here laughing at the funny words on the tombstones. I guess it doesn't do any harm. Genealogists come up from Boston. They get paid by city people for looking up their ancestors. They want to make sure they're daughters of the American Revolution, of the Mayflower. I guess that doesn't do any harm either. Wherever you come near the human race, there's layers and layers of nonsense. Here are the Civil War veterans. Iron flags on their graves. New Hampshire boys had a notion that the Union ought to be kept together, though they'd never seen more than 50 miles of it themselves. All they knew was the name, friends. The United States of America. The United States of America. And they went and died about it. Over here is the new part of the cemetery. Here's our friend, Gibbs. Let me see. Simon Stimson, the organist at the Congregational Church. Mrs. Soames, who enjoyed the wedding so. So many others. Editor Webb's. Well, his appendix burst on a Boy Scout camping trip to Crawford Notch. Yes, an awful lot of sorrow has sort of quieted down. People just wild with grief have brought their relatives up this hill. You know how it is. And then time, and sunny days, rainy days, snow. We're just glad they're in a beautiful place and that we'll be up here ourselves when our fit's over. There are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. And it isn't houses. It isn't names. It isn't earth. It isn't even stars. Everybody knows in their bones that something is eternal. And that something has to do with human beings. You know, all the greatest people ever lived have been trying to tell us that for 5,000 years, and yet you'd be surprised how often people lose hold of it. You know as well as I do that the dead don't stay interested in us living people very long. They get weaned away from the earth. That's the way I put it. Weaned away. And they stay here while the earth part of them burns away. Burns out. And all that time, they slowly get indifferent to what goes on in Grover's corners. They're waiting. They're waiting for something they feel is coming. Something important. Something great. Aren't they waiting for the eternal part in them to come out clear? Some of the things they're going to say maybe will hurt your feelings. That's just how it is. Mother and daughter, husband and wife, enemy and enemy, money and miser, all of these terribly important things kind of grow pale around them. What's left when memory's gone? And your identity? There are some living people. There's Joe Stoddard, our undertaker, supervising a newly made grave. And a Grover's Corners girl. She left town to go out west.